A very good morning, everyone. My name is Sachina Subba, and today we shall briefly talk on the Right of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, which is also known as the RPWD Act of 2016. It is essential to understand that earlier we had another legislation, Persons with Disability Act 1995, and the same is now replaced by the RPWD Act of 2016. Briefly going back to the history, India signed and ratified the United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities, also known as the UNCRPD, in 1st of October 2007 in the United Nations. Now, this convention lays down following principle for empowerment of persons with disabilities, such as respect for inherent dignity, individual autonomy, including the freedom to make one's own choices and independence of persons, non discrimination, full and effective participation and inclusion in society, respect for difference and acceptance of persons with disability as part of human diversity and humanity, equality of opportunity, accessibility, equality between men and women, respect for the evolving capacity of children with disabilities, and respect for the right of children with disabilities to preserve their identities. Okay, now since India did not meet up with many of the rights of this convention, a new law was drafted, and the same is known as the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. The Parliament received the assent of the President on the 27th day of December 2016, and it came into force on 19th of April 2017. Now, this Act of 2016 has 102 sections with 17 chapters. All right, and the earlier Act of 1995, it had recognized only seven types of disabilities, but the new Act of 2016, it recognizes 21 different type of disabilities, including physical, intellectual, and psychological disorders. Okay, as we all know, but we often overlook, right, that disability profoundly impacts a person's life socially, economically, intellectually, emotionally, physically, right? So this new act, it mandates that individual with disability have the right to equality, respect, and participation in all aspects of life. Now, this convention also aimed for a very holistic approach with a biopsychosocial model. All right, because obviously disability we cannot continue to just biology, right? Biology पनि impact गर्छ, त्यहाँदेखि हाम्रो psychologically पनि it impacts us, and then since we live in a society को interactions, the societal barriers, environment, attitude, so many things to consider, right? So यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ this convention also it took a very holistic approach, and एउटा बायोसाइकोसोसियल मोडललाई चाहिँ अप्नायो, भनौँ न अडप्ट गर्यो होइन यो मोडल. सो हामीले चाहिँ यो पुरानो एक्टदेखि चाहिँ यो नयाँ एक्टमा हेऱ्यो भने चाहिँ we can also see a paradigm shift, okay, we from a more charitable sort of approach to a more human rights or a right based approach पनि हामीले we can see that. All right, and another thing we can also see is that this disability is not a static concept, but it is rather a evolving, a very dynamic concept. किनभने चाहिँ अब some people, some disabilities are permanent, right? Some disability medical intervention and आफ्नो physiotherapyहरू गरेर there can be increase and decrease in disability होइन. अन्त त्यहाँदेखि some disability, a person can be differently able at any point of time due to many situations होइन. The age factorले गर्दा पनि हुन्छ, like Parkinson's and all that होइन. So त्यस्तो खालको disability अबहरू कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ rather than a static concept, we can view this as a evolving or a dynamic concept. Okay, and अब तपाईँहरूलाई यो एक्टको बारेमा अझै in depth knowledge चाहिन्छ भने चाहिँ I would suggest you all to read section 2 of this act हो. तपाईँले यो एक्टमा चाहिँ तपाईँले टर्मिनोलोजीहरू धेरै बुझ्नुहुनेछ होइन. डिफरेन्टली एबल भनेको के हो, ब्यारियरहरू, persons with benchmark disability, persons with disability, persons with disability having high support needs अब यो various थिङ्सहरू चाहिँ यो section 2 मा डिफाइन गरेको छ हेर्नुहोस् I mean there are many other terminology also which is defined in this section, so I suggest you all to read section 2 of this act for your better understanding. Okay, now coming to the rights of persons, right, with disability. Now, first of all, they are all entitled to equality, they're all entitled to dignity, they are all entitled to equal opportunity, non-discrimination in field, and they are also entitled to protection and safety during times of emergencies and disaster. अब यो भन्नाले चाहिँ सपोजिङ टेकिङ सिक्किम फर इन्स्टेन्स अब हाम्रो स्टेटमा त अरू डिजास्टर भन्दा लेट्स कन्सिडर नेचुरल डिजास्टर राइट अब नेचुरल डिजास्टरको टाइममा अब हामीले we cannot expect the differently abled people to every time evacuate themselves to safety, right? So उहाँहरूको लागि एउटा प्रोभिजन हुनु पर्यो, लिस्ट हुनु पर्यो, लाइक वेयर differently able मान्छेहरूको लागि अन्त उनीहरूलाई हामीले सेफ्टीको प्रोभिजन्सहरू पनि हामीले कन्सिडर गर्नुपर्छ यस्तो इमर्जेन्सीको टाइमहरूमा उनीहरूलाई सप्लाइजहरूको लागि वी क्यानट एक्सपेक्ट देम टु स्टे इन द लाइन होइन सो अब त्यस्तोहरू हुन्छ होइन सो हामीले यो सबैको प्रोभिजन्सहरू हामीले उनीहरूलाई इन्स्योर गर्नुपर्छ अन्त दे हेभ द राइट टु लिभ इन द कम्युनिटी विथ डिग्निटी रिस्पेक्ट होइन अन्त दे हेभ the right to live in their home and family just because one are disabled or does not mean that you can take them away from their um, family, and they also have the right to make their own decision with regard to their reproductive right. The very interesting cases there, Suchita Srivastava and another versus Chandigarh administration 2009 ma जहाँनिर a woman, she was pregnant, okay, and she was intellectually impaired, okay, so the persons were arrested and everything, but the medical doctors and even the high court, uh, they suggested for a medical termination of pregnancy, okay, but the woman, she refused to give her consent, okay, and she wanted to have the baby. So Supreme Court यो केसमा चाहिँ upheld the right of reproductive right of a woman and also challenged the prejudice of the society. All right, so they also have voting rights, and polling stations, it has to be ensured that they are differently able friendly, त्यहाँदेखि they are entitled to um, access his or her right to avail justice. They also, the government also has to ensure that the persons with disability have right equally with others to own or inherit property, whether movable or immovable. They have their right to control their own finances. They have. They should have access to mortgages, bank loans, or any other financial credit. उहाँहरूकोमा सबै यो राइट्सहरू they have their own rights, okay, and the persons with disabilities are also entitled to protection from violence, from inhuman treatment, from cruelty, from abuse, and from exploitations, okay, so then they have a free right to education, and in nearby schools of their choice, and the government, local authorities, they have to ensure that the schools institutions encourage inclusivity अन्त देयर इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरहरूदेखि लिएर इन्भाइरोमेन्टहरूदेखि लिएर एटिट्युडहरूदेखि लिएर चाहिँ इट इज अल डिफ्रेन्टली एबल फ्रेन्डलीहरू त्योहरू एन्स्योर गर्नुपर्छ अन्त सेक्सन 34(1) द एक्ट अल्सो प्रोभाइड्स फर नट लेस देन 4% of the total number of vacancies in government establishment, okay, उहाँहरूको लागि त्यो रिजर्भेसन चाहिँ अल्सो नाउ यो रिजर्भेसन अफ 4% it is also now divided among like different type of disabilities, होइन, लोकोमोटिभ मेन्टल त्यस्तोहरू भनेर इन्टेलेक्चुअल त्यस्तोहरू भनेर यु क्यान गो थ्रु द्याट, ओके, अन्त त्यहाँदेखि अर्लियर इट युज टु बी 3%, अहिले बढाएर इट इज 4% बढाएको छ, होइन, त्यहाँदेखि अब यो पनि एन्स्योर गर्नुपर्छ कि डिफ्रेन्टली एबल पर्सन्सहरूको लागि ट्रान्सपोर्टमा उनीहरूको लागि कम्फर्ट छ, होइन, अब बसमा चढ्नुहरूको लागि उनीहरूको लागि ऱ्याम्प हुनुपर्छ, होइन, अन्त अब इन्टरनेट अभाइलेबिलिटी त खास जहाँ पनि हुनु पर्यो उनीहरूको उहाँहरूलाई अब एउटा कम्युनिकेसन टेक्नोलोजी जस्तै ब्रेलहरू भयो, whatever equipments are necessary for them, उहाँहरूलाई त्यो प्रोभाइड गर्नुपर्छ होइन। उहाँहरूको इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्सहरू पनि सबै डिफ्रेन्टली एबल फ्रेन्डली हुनुपर्छ, विथ ऱ्याम्प्स इन एभ्री बिल्डिङ, अन्त टोइलेट्सहरू फर द डिफ्रेन्टली एबल्ड, अल दिस ओके। सो उहाँहरू दे आर एन्टाइटल टु अल दिस। एन्ड देन अब यो सबै बेनिफिट्स, यो सबै कन्सेसन्सहरू, दे आर अल्सो एन्टाइटल टु सो मेनी कन्सेसन्स लाइक इन ट्रान्सपोर्ट ओके। एन्ड देन यस्तो फर्महरू भर्दाहरूदेखि लिएर मेडिकलहरू, अन्त यो कन्सेसनहरू अवेल गर्नुको लागि चाहिँ द बेसिक नेसेसिटी इज अ सर्टिफिकेट ओके। अन्त सर्टिफिकेट पनि उहाँहरूले पाउनुहुन्छ टु अवेल अल दिस बेनिफिट्स एन्ड कन्सेसन्स होइन। अन्त एउटा युनिक डिसेबिलिटी आइडी कार्ड पनि हुन्छ ओके। अन्त the respective medical boards constituted at a state or district levels are the certifying authority to issue disability certificate okay. Now to understand more about this, and if you want to know more about the disability certificate and all that, so please visit the swavlambancard.gov.in भन्ने एउटा पोर्टल छ। सो तपाईँहरू त्यहाँ गएर भिजिट गर्नुहोस् होइन। अन्त there about the endeavor is to make it accessible to everybody, but we all know the internet connections and conditions in India, right? तर अब कोसिस चाहिँ जारी नै छ होइन। अन्त अब यो पोर्टल्सहरू चाहिँ इट इज अल्सो ट्रान्सपेरेन्ट, अन्त यो मिसयुज अफ डिसेबिलिटी सर्टिफिकेटहरूलाई पनि कर्टेल गर्नु सक्छ होइन। सो 40% अबभ डिसेबिलिटी सर्टिफिकेटहरू तपाईँहरूले पाउनुहुन्छ ओके, 40% अबभको डिसेबिलिटी। सो if you want to know about it, please visit the portal okay। तर तपाईँहरूले अब यो सर्टिफिकेट चाहिँ तपाईँहरूले गलतली फ्रडुलेन्टली इस्तेमाल गर्नुभयो भने चाहिँ or if you attempt to avail any of the benefits, or if you avail the benefits होइन, then you will be punished okay under the law, and then your term of imprisonment may extend up to 2 years alright। and तपाईँहरूको फाइन पनि हुनसक्छ जहाँ चाहिँ 1 लाख रुपिस हुन्छ alright। अन्त त्यहाँदेखि तपाईँहरूले डिसेबल्ड पिपलहरू पर्सन्सहरूलाई होइन, पर्सन्स वा डिफ्रेन्टली एबल्डहरू उहाँहरूलाई तपाईँहरूले नराम्रो गालीहरू दिनुभयो अरे होइन। एउटा इफ यु कमिट एन अफेन्स अफ एट्रोसिटी, इफ यु ट्राई टु लाइक मेडिकली हार्म देम, फिजिकली हार्म देम ओके, सो तपाईँहरूले त्यसमा पनि यु विल बी पनिस्ड ओके। एन्ड द्याट your punishment को imprisonment is not less than 6 months okay, but it can also go up to 5 years and fine पनि हुन्छ होइन। अन्त तपाईँहरूले यो प्रोभिजनहरूमा कुनै पनि प्रोभिजनहरू तपाईँले अब if your actions are in contravention alright to any of the provision of this act, then तपाईँलाई first you'll have to pay a fine of 10,000 rupees, and for the subsequent offense then you'll have to pay 50,000, and it can also go up to 5 lakhs alright। so coming to the end of the program होइन, अब legislation alone is not enough for effective implementation. We really have a very comprehensive act here okay। यो एक्टलाई त एउटा ल्यान्डमार्क एक्ट पनि भन्छ हुन्छ नि अन दिस पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट होइन। तर अब लेजिस्लेसन एक्लैले मात्रै त हुनु सक्दैन ओके। एन्ड द्याट इज वाइ हुन्छ नि लिभिङ इन अ वेलफेयर स्टेट, आई थिङ्क इट इज इन्कम्बेन्ट अपन इच अफ अस हुन्छ, एउटा इन्डिभिजुअलको पनि ड्युटी बनिन्छ फर अस टु help in creating an environment होइन, changing our attitudes होइन, and helping the persons live a very thriving life, very एउटा comfortable life हुन्छ नि, very अब उहाँहरूले जहाँ चाहिँ सेफ फिल गर्छ, उहाँहरूले जहाँ चाहिँ दे फिल इन्क्लुडेड एन्ड दे फिल रिस्पेक्टेड लाइक you know। so I think it is incumbent upon each of us to make them feel comfortable and safe and included and help them live a very thriving life होइन। so we as individuals we can be proactive right, we can spread awareness यसरी नै अन्त and we can also help in any possible way हुन्छ नि। so I will do my part, and I encourage all of you to do your own part as well, and create a very disability friendly environment and help people change their attitude and achieve our goals okay, thank you।